So, part 7 of The Suffering That Ties That Bind. This part really was definitely a pain. I had the most resets for the good morality of this part more than any others. Just because I wanted the good story beats, Riley in particular was a heck of a section to get through to get the good story beats for Killjoy's analysis at the end. But here we go down into solitary confinement. So this will be our introduction to the isolationists. Super tanky guys, super dangerous, can deal a ton of damage, but they're not really that bad whenever we have insanity, because we have our new cataclysm attack, which was really good timing to get before we get to the isolationists. So we definitely want to be on the lookout for them. Their silhouettes are super unique in the fact that they look like they have crutches, so we can always kind of find them in a room. But yeah, for the isolationists, they're actually a reference to isolation. I mean, we're in solitary confinement. It seems kind of apparent that they are a reference to solitary confinement and the issues that it brings for people. So the isolationists, super tough enemies, but at the same time, it would just be a good idea to use insanity at this point before this guy drains our health. So yeah, he ends up being pretty tough. Insanity is definitely the play whenever you get the isolationists. And they will also release these little roaches. Basically, it's just your tell that you want to use insanity mode on them. Because the roaches actually fill your insanity, it's basically just saying, hey, use insanity. Because they'll fill it up, and whenever you get rid of the roaches, it will fill it up super quick. So anytime you fight an isolationist, just know that it probably wants you to use insanity. And there, I walked around the corner, didn't hear that thing at all, but it was there. Kind of spooked me. But at the same time, we just kind of let it release its roaches, and then deal with them as they go. Not really sure what was going on with the body being electrified on the ground, but at the same time, I figured it was probably like some revival mechanic from one isolationist to another. But not really sure. But as you can see, we destroyed the roaches that it releases and should be using insanity right now. Didn't really get the hint too well until much later for some reason. But yeah, the whole design with the isolationists basically just tells you use insanity. That's about as simple as it gets. It wants you to use insanity mode on it. Like, its entire calling card is basically use insanity mode. So, since we have Cataclysm, we're basically just going to immediately get rid of it whenever we use Cataclysm. Since Cataclysm is a room-clearing ability, it will also work on the isolationists, and it does work through walls and stuff. So, it's a really, really powerful ability. But this part, we get a checkpoint in the next room, but we don't get a checkpoint for a long, long time. Whenever we meet Riley, we have to go through like a pseudo mini-boss kind of area while helping him and also helping another prisoner. It took a lot of retries to get this to be a good ending. It was so terrible. Like, you can see that I picked up those Scorpion machine guns and then switched them out and then switched back. Yeah, that's because this part was really choreographed after a while. This is probably like my 15th attempt at this point. So I get my insanity as quickly as I can, immediately use it so the isolationist goes down along with the mainliner over in the corner. Grab this bottle of pills to give myself a little bit more health, and then I knew there'd be more mainliners, so I immediately take them out. In this part, we just go downstairs, shoot this little junction box. That way we can climb out here. If you don't, you'll be electrocuted. So, definitely don't want that to happen. But then, we meet Riley. Irishman, I think? Don't want to be insulting to anyone, but I think he's Irish. Definitely sounds like it, but I'm not entirely certain on the difference between Irish and Scottish, so don't kill me if you are Irish or Scottish. I'm just saying I'm not good at distinguishing the accents. I'm not good with accents, so I believe he is Irish, but if he's not, my apologies. So anyways, Riley's going to be one of our last escorts. Definitely easier said than done, if you couldn't tell by the amount of attempts that I've said I've done at this point. But yeah, he shreds monsters. This man has an M60 and he is not afraid to use it, which also means if you get between a monster and him, he will shred your ass instead. So kind of give him a wide berth, because this man is a psychopath with that M60. And it can be really good or really bad. So don't let him hit you, because he will fuck you up. I'm not even joking, he shredded me so many times. So I eventually just kind of let him do the fighting. Like this isolationist, yeah, it's gone. He took it out. Riley is a bad motherfucker. Like, you don't want to mess with him. But here's going to be the section that gave me the most trouble. Riley ends up getting captured, but I end up shooting the barrels over there just so I don't have to deal with them. There were so many times where it ended up taking me out, but you have a fire extinguisher by this prisoner and a fire extinguisher by Riley, so you want to shoot both of them. And then you'll have the captain arsonist over here, which I had enough insanity mode to immediately clear the room, so I definitely opted to do that. And then I waited for this other captain to show up and then immediately just start beating it. So it's definitely a good idea to try and get full insanity mode when you enter this room. Immediately take out the fire extinguishers and then take out both the captains before shit hits the fan. Because the captains and its two minions will absolutely destroy you. So free Riley as soon as possible, free the prisoner as soon as possible, and then deal with both the captains whenever they pop up. Because all of that happens in a very short amount of time, you will get overwhelmed really, really quickly. And it happened to me a lot. It took a lot of reattempts to save Riley and that prisoner, and it was annoying. So Riley was a very short meet, but is a really good guy. He gave us the whole spiel whenever we met him. He knew that we were the guy that he was looking for. He's like, but I don't care about that anymore. I know you killed some of my friends or whatever, but to be fair, we were trying to kill you. So he's understanding. I mean, it kind of makes sense whenever you're trying to kill someone that they're probably going to try and defend themselves one way or another. But here we get a spectral call from Carmen. And she's kind of being vague with it, as always, but she's saying that we caused the pain in her head. So, just all little hints as to what's going on. And then we also have Blackmore in the door, but morphs into Torque. Again, it just kind of gives you hints along the way. I mean, it even gives you a hint in the very beginning whenever Torque talks, so... It's basically all just connecting together. I mean, at this point, I'm still not going to say exactly, but I did say in the first game, but just let it kind of flow in this one. But we do have a captain and his minions, so we're just going to activate Cataclysm and then immediately change back. The good part about Cataclysm, whenever you clear the room, it'll start filling your insanity for each monster that you destroy, so you will get a lot of insanity back at the same time, and then you only need to take out like 1 or 2 more monsters before you get insanity full again. So Cataclysm, really good attack. And the, like, how things work mentally for Torque, how he becomes a monster, I would kind of like a little bit more detail on how the Cataclysm attack works in general. I assume he just goes into like a berserk frenzy and starts messing up everything in the room, but at the same time they don't really say how it works. Because his insanity form is all in his head, essentially, at least it was in the first one. I don't know exactly if it still is in this one, but people don't seem to note that he becomes a giant blue Hulk, so I assume it's still in his head. But yeah, I would like more detailing on what exactly his special attacks are, because he kind of just insta-clears a room. It's kind of intriguing on how he does that, just being a berserk man. But here, another example of Cataclysm. Definitely should have just used Cataclysm off the start instead of throwing myself into guys that are literal fire. Would have been the smarter plan, but whatever. There is also the gel cell that the bars over here that they melted. They do set on fire, and if you do walk into them while they're on fire, you will be set on fire. So just know, fire can spread. Don't be me. Don't run into fire. But we do have some more of the task force coming down. Super simple to deal with them. Shotguns are really effective, especially against living things. So, yeah. And we get a phone call while we're getting attacked by a helicopter. But hell, I mean, we'll talk to Killjoy, who again refers to himself as an alienist, which is really interesting. Those that haven't seen the first game, whenever I did it, alienist is just an old term for a psychologist that's not used anymore. So it's kind of interesting that it puts him in this time period that he refers to himself as an alienist. So really interesting little detail. Killjoy is actually from like the 40s, like 30s, 40s. He talks about radio, so he's definitely from a time before television, but he also appears on projectors and stuff. So really interesting. I like the detailing on the character. And apparently approaching Carmen just makes her stop talking. Not really sure what happened there. But yeah, we're gonna go outside, have our, well, actually Carmen just said the title drop, so interesting. But yeah, we're gonna go out here. The Special Forces guys are dealing with some extreme shit. But Carmen's starting to tell us about Blackmore. So, Blackmore is definitely the center of everything. Definitely the big player in all of this. If you couldn't tell by the amount of times that he says he's a player. Again, voiced by Michael Clark Duncan. Really, really smooth voice, really deep. So, really like that character, or casting choice. He just does a really good job. I think he really got into the role. So we take the fire axe because we need to break the wood, and then we're going to go down and around. And Carmen's starting to tell us, yeah, obviously when the entire place is rattling, there's going to be something dangerous happening. But we're going to have a fight here. It will be against Jordan. I believe that this one changes depending on your morality. If you're bad morality, then you actually fight Blackmore. I think that's how it went. It's been forever since I've actually looked at it, but a lot of things can change, subtle nuances, depending on your morality in the games, but mainly just boss fights will change to be different, and the chopper section here will be Blackmore, but right now, since we're good morality, we're facing off against Jordan. There's not a whole lot of indicator what you're actually damaging on, like, the helicopter's being damaged, but the more you shoot it, the more it will be damaged. We still have to worry about all the guys around too, which actually I could probably use Cataclysm here, looking back, and it would clear out pretty much all the enemies. Cataclysm's, like I said, super far reaching, can reach through walls, super damaging, so it's just a really, really good Insanity ability. Compared to the first game, this Insanity attack is just ridiculous in how powerful it is. Like, they definitely bumped up Insanity's usefulness. So there, we use our Cataclysm attack, and as you can see, the chopper started smoking. So it is taking damage, it's just not super clear to begin with. But we will want to start out and start taking out all of the troops that come along. It's not really that bad of a fight, honestly. Since the troops drop Zombium and stuff, it does make it a lot easier to keep our health topped. But we can also take the high ground. This guy up here is just kind of sitting there, chilling. So at this point, it would definitely be in our best interest to keep shooting the helicopter, but at the same time, I mean, we can just build up our Insanity as well. But yeah, she does get damaged if you shoot at the helicopter, so it would be a really good idea to keep shooting the helicopter. I wasn't really sure at this point if it was just Cataclysm that would do it, but it definitely works just by shooting at her. So we could use the grease gun and have all of these weapons that we can use to just keep blasting the helicopter.
You killed how many of my men? You think I would just forget that?
And again, I really wonder how Cataclysm works, because if we can damage a helicopter just by being insane for a short amount of time, I'm really wondering how that works. Like, do we literally jump up and start just bashing the shit out of the helicopter, or what? Because that's kind of interesting. Really like to know how Torque damaged the helicopter there. But yeah, we're just gonna keep blasting the helicopter. Just keep blasting it. It is still getting damaged. You couldn't tell, it's still taking a lot of damage, has a lot of smoke coming out of it. It's not super clear on the feedback, like, there's no real model damage, but it does smoke a lot. So, we're just gonna keep going back and forth, keep shooting at it, let it do its minigun, and then jump out and start using our grease gun. Unfortunately, I wish we did have like one more enemy that popped out and gave us full Insanity. Definitely would have probably taken a lot off of the chopper for the second time. This fight really isn't that hard. Compared to the drowning pool, whenever we get to that in part 8, this helicopter fight is basically a joke. So, the drowning pool is definitely a lot tougher than this helicopter. We only have the one to worry about, and its minigun is super easy to avoid, has a limited amount of duration that it fires at you, so you can be out in the time that it does its thing. Honestly, it probably would have just been a better idea to stay on the ground and just keep shooting at it. The whole thing isn't really that hard to deal with. Plus, there is ammo boxes on the floor. So, definitely would have just had more ammo to use. And yeah, nobody's going to answer the door. But here we can see it's flaming, and Jordan's going to be taking off pretty soon. You know, helicopter on fire, definitely not a good thing for her. But yeah, the fight, super simple. I mean, you can easily hide. And she flies over the building and explodes. So, she's gone. Chop her down. Now we just need to wait. She's going to come out and try and use the turret on us for some reason, but then we just have dual revolvers and take her out. I mean, It's not really that hard of a concept. I mean, she comes out, tries to use a mounted gun on us, and we have revolvers pointing at her. Then a captain jumps down. We immediately take it out. Jordan's just kind of gone. And since we have this mounted gun, we're going to go ahead and use it if anything comes along. Ended up taking down the marksman down there without even thinking about it with Cataclysm, so everything just kind of died. For those that don't know, there were marksmen down there, but because we used Cataclysm and it's such a powerful attack, it cleared them out too, as well as the captain. So, yeah, Cataclysm, super powerful. Definitely recommend.
This is it, T. Blackmore's here.
But Carbon pops up whenever we just take care of that, and for some reason she just keeps disappearing. I don't really know. She just poof, gone immediately. She's just doing her own thing, I guess. Maybe she only had like 10 cents for the ghost call or something. I don't know. She could only collect call for a minute. But yeah, she ends up taking off. This is a really weird elevator. We have to push the button and then run onto the lift while it's going up before it goes up. So really weird. They didn't put the button on the elevator. They put the button next to the elevator. And then it has like a delay set where you need to jump on it. So I was kind of like, well, that's interesting. So yeah, push the button, go up the elevator. And then we're going to have some captains come out along with some normal guys. Super easy, just get rid of the little guys. That'll charge your insanity, and then you hit the captain whenever you have full insanity. So, got my full insanity, gonna take out the captain. And then deal with the other guy normally. As you can see, our insanity went to full because I transformed back as the captain was dying, so it filled our insanity before it was done. And we're gonna go ahead and push this button. But then we're gonna have the Horde show up. And it doesn't like helicopters. So yeah, now we have to deal with the Horde. Which isn't too bad of a little fight, but it does beat your ass pretty badly if it hits you. So, end up ducking to avoid some of its attacks. Not really sure if that is how you do it exactly, because it does hit me whenever I do it. But at the same time, it's not like a really hard fight, it's just really weird. There I end up using Insanity mode, and it ends up actually canceling that attack, but then I use my Cataclysm to hit it. Again, Cataclysm, super good attack. Just really, really powerful to use. And there I ended up hitting it in its midsection, so I figured, hey, maybe it's weak there. So I end up doing that more. Because it's giving me the jiggly, I figured that was what was dealing damage, so end up taking it out. Not really that bad of a fight, in all honesty. But now we have the Triggerman down here, the captain. So I need to switch to Insanity form to take him out. I didn't really see the whole ghostly like fog effect on him, so I wasn't really sure he was a captain. But my Cataclysm honestly could have probably hit him from up there. So I could have just immediately done it and then used Cataclysm and probably still taken him out. But I ended up doing it. I didn't really need to walk around the box. I could have still taken him out regardless. But yeah, we're just gonna have a couple more guys popping up. Really just dealing with them the same way as always. If it's a captain, take out its little troops and then take out the captain. But ended up hitting the button to send me up the stairs. Flash grenaded them while I was going up, so I had a little bit more time and cover. And then I can use this grenade launcher to my heart's content to take out the other guys. And now there's just a captain left, so switch to Insanity form, and then watch the Cataclysm hit him from up here. Yeah, Cataclysm, really good attack. Broken, even. But Copperfield will pop up, and then we're gonna go into the drowning pools. So that'll be the next part. But let me know what you guys think, and have a good one.